I'm a big fan of Thom Hartmann, or at least I was until last week. I've listened to him for over 20 years since he was on the Air America radio network, and I pay $60 a year for his podcast. It's 3 hours a day, which is edited down to 40 minutes without the commercials, and I'm willing to pay that because I find the show very informative. But last week, he said some things that were really disturbing to me, okay? And I'm going to play you some audio clips. Here's the first one.
Your party, the DSA, Socialists of America, are...
I am not a fan of the DSA, and I'm not a member of the DSA.
Well, your party is.
No, I don't think that's true. I think that my party is as wary of the DSA as they are of the Greens. The Democrats are a little worried about this.
I hope so.
And don't throw DSA at me, CJ. I'm not going to defend them. It is not my party.
Well, your party is.
No, it's not.
Then destroy them.
What? Okay, so Tom is not a fan of the DSA? I mean, he had Brunch with Bernie for like a decade on his show. Democratic Socialist, Bernie Sanders. WTF, right? Okay, now listen to this one.
Weird stuff that's coming out of DSA right now. The co-chair of the DSA went on Fox News this week and called for a bunch of stupid policies like abolishing the United States Senate.
How is that stupid? The Senate is not representative. You get 2 senators per state, regardless of the population of your state. The Senate is anti-democratic. How could you not be for abolishing it? What the fuck, Tom?
Ending national borders, shutting down all of our prisons.
Okay, what the fuck is wrong with that? So, yeah, we want to shut down prisons. Of course we want to do that because prisons are anti-freedom. Prisons are, first of all, punishment does not deter behavior. It doesn't. The only thing that changes behavior is reward. So, the only reason why you would have prisons is to pull somebody out of society for the protection of others, not to rehabilitate them, not to have a deterrent for future crime. There are ways to reduce crime and therefore eliminate prisons. If we had works programs, if we had guaranteed minimum income, if we had summer camps for youth to, where they could actually do something productive with their time instead of just having all this free time and then not even city parks, right? And not no jobs programs or training programs or apprenticeship programs, right? Or when all human labor becomes completely obsolete, don't you think there could be some incentives? I mean, when all human labor becomes completely obsolete and we have, material needs no longer exist, then you don't need to steal stuff to have stuff, right? And crime goes away for that reason. So fucking A, we should get rid of prisons. I mean, the more prisons you have, the more crime you have, because the for-profit nature of the prisons in this country means we got to keep those beds filled, which is why we only have 4% of the world's population and yet 25% of the world's prisoners, right? Yeah, we should get rid of prisons. Maybe not eliminate them entirely, but make them a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of what they are right now, to where you could basically, it would tend towards zero, if not actually zero, right? Come on, Tom.
And yeah, Republicans are pounding on this. I mean, the right-wing media is all over this right now.
Fuck the right-wing media. Who gives a fuck what they have to say? They're fucking liars, and it doesn't fucking matter what they say. Nobody's listening to them. That really matters. Only fucking cult members listen to that shit.
What the Democrats want. No, the DSA is not the Democratic Party. And even Democratic candidates who embrace what you could call democratic socialism, small d, small s, are not endorsing the DSA or their positions. I realize, Mamdani was on their ticket, but, that's about as far as it goes.
Okay, let's just listen to the next clip. All right, I got to go to the next clip.
But there's only 7 advanced democracies in the world right now that still have first past the post, winner take all elections, and therefore basically have 2-party systems.
Right. People don't realize that when people are restricted to just a single choice, it makes similar candidates and parties all spoil each other's chances, leading us to this 2-party system that even George Washington warned us about in his farewell address.
Although he didn't know the solution. I mean, it wasn't until 1861, I think it was, that John Stuart Mill published, it wasn't on Liberty, it was his other famous book, that laid out how to do proportional representation in a parliamentary system.
Yeah, what's wrong with that, right? You get rid of the presidency, you get rid of the Senate, you just have a parliamentary system with proportional representation and say like 12 parties, so that, if your views aren't represented by one of the 2 parties, then you at least have some representation. So the way that works is if your party gets 10% of the votes, they get 10% of the seats in parliament. So again, you have 10% representation rather than 0 representation. The system we have here is incredibly anti-democratic. Why are you defending it, Tom? Why can't we progress? Why can't we become a civilized country like they have in Europe, right? Where they have socialism, where they have universal public goods, right? And a high top marginal tax rate. What the fuck has happened to you, Tom?
The big problem is that we now have this spin-off third party called the Democratic Socialists of America, where the number 2 person is going on Fox News saying we want to abolish the Senate, and the number 1 person is saying that we're going to run candidates in states that don't have fusion voting, so we will be directly competing with the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party does not know how to deal with this.
Yeah, they don't know how to deal with this, right? They don't know how to deal with this and keep their fucking donors, right? Fuck the Democratic Party, okay? The Democratic Party either needs to become socialist or they need to cease to exist, okay? If they can't compete, then fuck them, okay? And the other thing is that the voting populace is broken in basically into thirds, okay? You got a third that are diehard Republican, a third that are diehard Democrat, and then a third that are independent, which break for either one because they have no other choice, right? Or they just don't vote, okay? So you have a candidate that can get that middle third plus part of the Democrats, and they win the fucking election, okay? So fuck the Democratic Party, and God damn it, I can't believe you, Tom. Like, I don't know, man. Are you a freaking sellout liberal? Are you going to the fucking DNC now? Is that what's going on? The DCC? I mean, I've heard you say things about them not being democratic, about them not letting in other voices into the party. But now, what are you just breaking for the Democrats out of fear? Like we always do in election year, when we get into the end of the summer, when we get into August, then suddenly people are like, oh, henny penny, and then we run to the center and then we lose the fucking election.
And it's going to be a friggin' mess. It's going to, these are narcissists. I mean, this is Jill Stein all over again, right?
These are narcissists? These are narcissists? Who want to offer health care and education to everyone? Who don't want to take, millions of dollars? Who don't want to be corrupt and be paid for policy the way corporate Democrats are? The way multi-millionaire corporate Democrats are? Who's the fucking narcissist? Just get my name in the headlines. I'm just going to run for it, and it brings in some money too.
They all want to be little mini Trump.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm very concerned about
Your part.
So now, Thom Hartmann is a freaking concern troll? Oh my fucking God! Thom Hartmann is a freaking concern troll now. Oh, I'm so concerned that things might change. It might be different from the system that I was born into. I can't say these things to Tom. I can't call into his show. Whenever I call into his show, all I get is a busy signal. So, about 15 years or so ago, I called into his program and I asked him if he'd ever heard of the Venus Project. And he's like, "Oh no, I've never heard of them. Oh, what's that?" And then the next time I call in is busy, and the next time I call is busy. He blocked my number because he doesn't like the Venus Project, right? And he acted like he didn't know what the hell it was, right? But then a week later, somebody else called in and asked him about the Venus Project, and then a month later, and then a year later, and then several times since then, and he says the exact same thing every time. "Oh, I've never heard of them. I'll have to look that up." And then he doesn't look them up, right? He doesn't want an alternative vision to the future of this country that isn't contained within the Democratic Party. So obviously, I guess Thom Hartmann is not on the left, right? Now, ironically, I hear every week from Kenyatta. Kenyatta calls into the every week. John from Logston, Oregon, Paul from Woodinville, Washington, Larry from Los Angeles, Nora from Alabama. These people call in week after week after week after week. They're on there every week. How the fuck do they get through? How do they get past that busy signal? I have no idea. But apparently they're, vetted, callers who won't say something that will upset the apple cart too much for Tom. And so he lets them come on again and again and again. But somebody like me, a free thinker who thinks outside of the box of the two-party system, you're not going to let me in. So the only way I can respond to you is in this damn video. You don't respond to anything I post on Facebook to you. You don't read your emails, right, Tom? The only way to contact you is through your damn show, and you've blocked me from that. So this is it. This is the only way that I can get through to you. And I'm telling you, Tom, if you don't endorse the Democratic Socialist Party, I'm canceling my my podcast subscription. And there's plenty of other voices, right? I don't have to listen to you, and I don't have to listen to Bill Maher, and I don't have to listen to Pac-Man, So, yeah, if you're in with Pac-Man and Bill Maher, then, if you're going to the center, bye-bye, Tom.